You're back? You're still watching this episode?
You are, right?
I can't believe it.
Return for more.
This segment
was okay.
This segment was okay.
alright.
This segment was okay.
You know,
Given
this
we've said
works.
we hate this show, this is not bad this week.
yeah. This was.
It's only not you two, but the bits of the other shows. They're
Yeah. That's all the Christian TV was fantastic. This is returning to my favourite stuff in the world, late night TV. Like whether I'm on TV or not, I spend a disproportionate amount of my life watching crap late night TV.
It's obviously quite a challenge for the networks to find really, really cheap content to fill those hours between midnight and dawn. And who would have thought that the bottom of the barrel would have so much material on it?
Oh, it sure does.
Yeah, they really do.
I think FOXTEL know. It really was shooting fish in a barrel doing Christian TV because there's about 3 hours of it a night, and it's actually worse than infomercials. Like we never actually got to infomercials when we were making fun of late night TV because infomercials is actually the highlight of late night TV. It gets much worse than infomercials.
This is one of my favourite. I love this particularly.
It's glorious, isn't it? Look at it.
The word. Yeah, what is the word for that?
I don't know whose house this is actually set in. We just sit here and savour this moment.
This guy here has his own Christian show
his
as well.
name again?
It's like
It's his own show.
Is it called The Word?
No, this is audition
I think
reel.
from memory, this is Creflo $8.
Creflo $8, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which just does sound like the crap flow of dollars, which I think is what a good summary of Christian television. Yeah.
It's written on the pitch document.
Yes.
You would think, really, if there was a God, that he would send a saviour to end these shows.
Yeah, he'd smite them, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
You gotta post-it notes. Use post-it notes, idiot.
This is very homey, they said, isn't it?
It's about as homey as you can get.
It's great. It was
It's as
almost like a
homey as
sitcom.
our set, really.
Yeah.
You could be...
Yeah. I was going to say, this guy coming up, I must admit, I've forgotten his name. It's been 2 or 3 years since I watched all this stuff. But I think his name was Mike Malone or something like that from memory. Was just...
Grade A charlatan.
Just that, I was going to say that I'm not sure if we're legally allowed to say he's the most massive shyster there is, but I don't think he's watching this. So he is. He's a huge shyster. And
This guy here.
He appeared,
In
this
your
guy
opinion,
here.
in
This
your
guy-
opinion.
Mike Murdoch, that's his name, Mike Murdoch.
And how does it work?
He's all about planting seeds, right? And what a seed is, giving him money.
Yes.
Essentially. You just got to give him money and then good things will happen to
He
you.
actually pays his mortgage with seeds.
Just in a wheelbarrow, yeah. But yeah, this guy's actually, he appears on so many of these Christian shows. He does the whole rounds.
Well, this is on the Benny Hinn show, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah.
Funny because he looks like Satan. It's got a sort of devilish
Well, the
look
Lord does
about
work
him,
in
I think,
mysterious hair grooming ways.
You guys might recall there was a...
At least we found somebody whose hair's worse than yours in the series.
Yeah, which is quite a find. Quite a find. I mean, you would really be digging for something.
I was going to say, this guy was a real trendsetter because you guys might recall about a year or two, there was a bit of a controversy with miracle water sellers, people selling miracle water, and the way they made their money, because they gave away the miracle water for free, the way they made their money is when you bought the miracle water, or when you got for free, the way to make it work is to then give them money.
Yeah,
That's what they don't tell you.
Money's
Water's
the
free,
active
but
ingredient.
Yeah, that's right.
It
That's
doesn't
right.
activate.
And they kind of copied Mike Murdoch's routine, which is all about giving him money to create miracles. So good on you, Mike.
Exactly. But Mike never came to Australia. Benny Hinn does tour Australia.
He does.
doesn't
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To Australia.
So, but we never got to crash one of his gigs because I think that they're pretty high security.
They are. And I don't think he was.
mate,
I don't think he was in Australia when we were on air either.
Well, that might have been another
which
one
is
of his,
probably. I'd love to crash his gig, but
the
not in
combination
Atlanta.
was fucking-
A real obscure point, it was years ago when we were doing radio, we used to call a guy in India because we tried to outsource stuff to him. And he was a Benny Hinn follower, and he would always talk about how great Benny Hinn was.
Yeah.
And
then
Benny
you
Hinn
saw
went
it.
to India and he had literally millions. They had to use an old airfield because there were millions of people actually watching him live.
Yeah.
He's
On an
up-
airfield.
Yeah, and you can see why he's such a convincing performer.
Yeah, well, he's great, isn't he?
They just were big Domino's fans, that's all.
This led on to us dressing up as healers, didn't it? I remember
Yeah.
we came up with this at the very last minute. So we had to buy some suits
This is actually in a school.
Yeah. And that's Andy Neal, our series producer, getting thrown back there. Jake, our researcher. They're the work
That's our
experience
editor,
guys. That's James
James.
Edwards, our editor.
Oh, yes.
That's just the guy we wanted to be violent towards. I think that was Kate Wild, our researcher, who just got slapped across the back there. And that's actually an elite private boys' school.
It is.
That's one of the more wholesome things
Is it
that's
yours
gone on.
or
Yeah,
Chaz's?
it's one of the-
Jules,
here we
Jules,
go.
shush
Oh,
now.
here we go.
Shush
No, now's the time to not only press the red button, there's also a button on your FOXTEL remote that says off. And I'd probably recommend you press that at this point.
I remember. Let me talk through the process that happens after each episode when we film. Because we go upstairs and we usually film too much. The episode goes for 26 minutes. We usually film 33, 34 minutes. And then we'll cut 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah,
Now, in this particular episode, we didn't know where to begin when it came to cutting.
Yeah.
But I remember we went upstairs and we usually argue with each other about what we're going to cut. And we have three or four of us go up, and we have our producer and our director and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, and we went upstairs after the show and said, "What are we going to cut?" And we said, "Well," and 2 or 3 of us said, "Well, we got to cut Famous Face Off.
Yeah, it's got to go.
Got to cut Famous Face Off. It's a dog. We got to cut that. That was awful." And
It wasn't Annalise and Kate's fault. It was
No,
no.
Yeah, no, that
They
was
did a very
really
good job.
Well,
We
fine.
just set
It's
it
just-
up badly, and also the fact that Andrew was dressed as some kind of strange hairy minotaur.
that didn't help.
Make great
That
sense.
didn't help. Anyway,
No,
anyway,
it's
so,
certainly not the fault of the models.
Yeah.
No,
So
we're
we're
trying
upstairs
to
and we cut it. We actually do cut this segment from our show, but there's so much awful stuff in this show. And then our director comes up and goes, "You didn't cut Famous Face Off, did you? That was fantastic. That was brilliant. Put it back in." And we thought, well, if one person likes a segment in the
thing.
show,
Yeah.
that's better than anything else in the show.
It was the only positive comment.
So just for a second, we went just a little. It's 3 a.m. and we went just a little bit crazy, and we put it back in. And it was just the biggest mistake we ever made. We woke up next day with a terrible hangover.
we
and
did-
What have we done?
Yeah.
What have we done?
We did
like
a signing once where somebody came up to, they waited in a queue for like an hour to say, "I just wanted to ask, what did you think was funny about the Famous Face Off models?" And people don't realise that a lot of the time we don't put things in the show because we think that they're comic genius. It's because we have to deliver a 26 and a half minute show. And sometimes there's only so much you've got on the table.
This is poor.
This
I
is...
feel so terribly sorry for Annalise and Kate. Look
I
at
know,
that.
because they really did a
they
good
deserve
job.
better.
As if
really-
being
that's so
engaged to
better.
Jamie Packer wasn't bad enough.
Yeah.
This is actually...
They sold it.
They did. They really
sold it.
they pushed the proverbial uphill.
But we didn't do enough thinking about how it should work.
If you press your yellow button now, if enough people press it, Andrew will wear that costume forever.
And if you're on some sort of life support machine, there's probably also a big button that will just switch it off and give you a merciful ending.
If only that segment.
Thank God that's over.
It was deeply satirical, though. That's what I liked
There
about
is
it.
satire hidden in
and there
there.
was Dags.
Now,
The story of Dags
Yeah,
was...
it is a long story.
Yeah, we actually filmed this about 3
In
months...
1970, when the gag was really...
We filmed it.
When the
This is
gag
kind
was
of...
new.
We joked before about Late Show rip-offs. This is very reminiscent of the Late Show, except for it was much, much, much worse. Anyway, and we filmed it and we looked back at it and said, we're not going to run that. But then we got to this episode.
Chris loved it. Chris
Didn't
did
we
love it.
put
And he
this-
used to
didn't we
always
put
put
this
it
on
in
the
the rundown
DVD?
of every episode, didn't he?
Didn't we put it in the first DVD as
It was only because Chris had
As
a
an
commentary
extra.
track gag
Well, I
about
thought-
it.
Yeah.
we put a posh director's commentary on
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
which was a good way of trying to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, since we ran out of material in this episode, we just had to run it.
Yeah. That's the
Yeah.
that's the equivalent in comedy terms of breaking the emergency glass.
That was jumping the shark and then filleting it.
Oh dear. But
Things
things look
you
up
know who
from
I
here,
feel
though.
really bad for is for the Rusty Trumpet Band, because
Yeah,
they had to
exactly.
be associated with this show.
Yeah, no
They'd probably
wonder.
be huge if they
Yeah,
did.
they'd be on a major label by now if not for this. And,
Oh, hang
we
on,
were
this
even
is
showing
good. This
these
is good.
Oprah
This is
out.
good.
This is quite a
It's one
funny
of the funniest
moment.
pieces of footage we ever ran.
And
This
this
is
was
funny,
this was
isn't
actually
it?
recommended by my wife, who is an Oprah addict. And she came in one day. She just said, "You have to watch this. This is the funniest bit of footage." And I showed it to the other guys, and for some
Yeah.
reason, can't quite put my finger on it. They thought it was funny too.
Well, it's Oprah's reaction.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's just so inspirational. That's
It is good, isn't it?
it's just a really
That wasn't even a joke.
heartwarming
Yeah.
story. Here's a bit of funny video we found.
Clearly,
There's no gag.
I wonder if we'd cut something out there, because surely you couldn't come back off that footage without referring to it. We must have cut something in the middle there.
Yeah.
Oh, we might have, to make room for
that's
famous face-off.
That's right. Well, that's a shelving gag, isn't it? That's from much earlier in the series, the Garys.
Yeah.
What was that about? Who was it?
That's Gary Newan.
Gary Newan.
I don't know what Gary Newan was doing.
He's a cyclist. It was presumably some drug thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it must have been. That's
Oh,
right.
okay. Now we are at not only
We
the
have
low
reached
point.
the bottom of the
Yeah,
barrel.
not only the low point of this episode, but the low point of my life.
Yes.
Coco the monkey.
Coco the monkey, Chaz's lowest moment.
I often bump into Monica Trappiger and refer to this, and she's like, yeah, it was quite strange.
It was.
And
Should
the
give some background. Should give some background about this. That I generally don't do accents or voices on the show because I know I'm really, really bad at it. But for some reason, I thought that being dressed up as this giant, monkey, I couldn't just talk normally. So I tried to put on a voice. I think we can all agree it didn't really work.
It's not the best performance piece, but it's...
This shot.
Oh, that's the
God.
monkey
You
voice.
did it with conviction, though, which is good.
Oh,
It's just-
God.
And it's not really the world's most convincing monkey uniform, is it?
I'm reliving so many nightmares. Guys, could we just take time out and just talk about something pleasant?
No, we got to watch your
There was
Coco
this
the monkey.
timeline, so
We have to watch Coco the monkey.
I had a really great birthday party when I was 8 years old. We had 10
This
pin
shop
bowling.
closed down soon after this, Chaz, and I blame you.
It's clearly
I
your
believe
fault.
Coco the monkey still haunts that store. The ghost of Coco the monkey. The ghost of comedy haunts this store.
I believe Coco the Monkey and the Telstra Illusionist are doing a national tour next year. That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
Of Guantanamo
that.
Bay.